Good evening and welcome. My name is Lisa Vaca, and I am a special education consultant with the Halton Catholic District School Board. Co-presenting with me tonight is my colleague, Martha Pickett.
Good evening, everyone. Very happy to join you here.
This evening, we are very excited to announce the launch of a new Project Search site at Milton District Hospital. This program will begin in September 2021, and it will be available to eligible Halton Catholic District School Board students. It's a unique school-to-work program for secondary students that are identified with a developmental or intellectual disability. The goal of the program is competitive employment. We're so thrilled that you're able to join us tonight and hear more about Project Search. Before we go any further, I'm pleased to present and acknowledge our Project Search Halton Partnership leaders who have supported us with this project from the beginning. I'm going to start by introducing our Superintendent of Special Education, Stephanie Ballo, and call on her to say a few words.
Thank you, Lisa. And thank you very much to everyone who's on this evening. We certainly appreciate your attendance at this virtual session to learn more about Project Search. Thank you to Lisa and Martha for their leadership and for facilitating the session tonight. We are very pleased at Halton Catholic to be offering this School to Work internship program to our students and look forward to the partnership with Community Living North Halton, Halton Healthcare, and the Project Search organization. At this time, it is my pleasure to introduce Director Pat Daly.
Thanks, Stephanie, and I want to welcome everybody and thank you for joining us tonight as well. When I first heard of our project back in January, when I met with Lisa and Stephanie and Martha, I was really immediately excited about it. I spent a lot of time, almost 25 years as a secondary school teacher and administrator, so I know the challenges sometimes that we have in planning for our students as they leave us and then go on into the world of work. So we're really excited about this opportunity. And I'm always appreciative when initiatives kind of come to the table that align perfectly with what our priorities and goals are on our board. So we do strive to meet the needs of all of our learners and certainly try to do that by differentiating opportunities for all of our students. So this is a great opportunity for our secondary school students. We're very excited about it and really excited about working with our community partners as well. So thanks again tonight for joining us, and I hope you find it a valuable presentation.
Thank you so much, Pat and Stephanie. I'm also delighted to introduce you to the other members of our partnership. We have Jim Ferrer, the Director of Human Resources at Halton Healthcare. Jim, could you please say hello?
Hello, everyone. Welcome to our session.
Thank you, Jim. I will now ask Greg Edmonston, the Executive Director from Community Living North Halton, to say hi.
Hi, everyone. We're really proud to be part of this partnership and can't wait till September. Thanks.
Thank you, Greg. And last but not least, I'd like to take a moment to introduce you to the other members of our Project Search team that have helped to get us ready for the session this evening. So joining us from the Project Search organization itself, we have Cindy Burns. She's a national consultant for Project Search Cincinnati.
Hi, everyone. I'm glad to be here. Looking forward to some great outcomes.
Thanks, Cindy. From Community Living North Halton, we have Nancy Comber, who's the Community Development Coordinator, and we also have Joan Akehurst. From Halton Healthcare, we have Linda Ivory, the Organizational Development Consultant.
Hi, everybody. Look forward to working with you all.
And representing Halton Catholic District School Board, we have Andrew Cordero and Jody O'Reilly, our Special Education Coordinator.
Good evening, everyone.
Good evening, everyone.
Thanks, guys. Finally, we also have Marilyn Ellis, a community consultant. She's not with us here tonight, but we wanted to acknowledge her and thank her for all her support in getting us ready for this evening. Okay, so thank you to all of our team for joining us again and to helping to make tonight happen. So if we can have the first slide, please. Now that our introductions are completed, without further ado, let us begin with our presentation. Next slide. So as we are a Catholic community, we like to begin all of our meetings and information sessions with a prayer. If you can please join me in the sign of our faith. In the name of the Father, and the Son, and the Holy Spirit, amen. Focus on faith prayer. Jesus, our Savior and friend, you have shown us so much love. You are gentle with us. You heal us. You died on the cross for us. Now you ask us, do you love me? As we come to know you better and see that all you have done for us, may our hearts be filled with love for you. Make us eager to always do what you ask of us and to see your face and love you and everyone else we meet, especially those we may find it hard to love. It is your love which turns our lives around. By trying to love as you have loved us, we become more and more like you. Guide us always on our way. Show us each day how to love you more. Spirit of the loving God, fill our hearts. Amen. In the name of the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit. Amen. We'd also like to take a moment to honor the Indigenous land, and we have a brief video to share with you.
Each of us has a relationship to the natural environment, the land, water, earth, the habitat, and ecosystems. Land acknowledgements provide us with an opportunity to offer recognition, respect to the original inhabitants of the regions that we live in and work on. There are many things that we can do to go beyond simply reading a land acknowledgement script. To make it more meaningful, we need to consider that we are, in fact, acknowledging not only the ancestral lands, but also the historical and complex intersections of settler impacts on Indigenous histories, economies, ecologies, livelihood, well-being, and governance structures. A territorial acknowledgement is not an endpoint in the journey of reconciliation. Actions create conditions for true reconciliation and create a foundation for restoring, renewing, or developing a new relationship with Indigenous peoples. For hundreds of years, the Anishinaabe, the Haudenosaunee, the Attawaddaron, the Potawatomi, the Wendat, and Lenape nations have sought to walk gently on this land. They assisted the first European travelers to this territory and shared their knowledge for survival in what was, at times, a harsh climate. Under consultations from elders, knowledge holders from the Mississaugas of the Credit First Nation and 6 nations of the Grand River Territory, the Indigenous Education Advisory Committee, along with Halton Catholic District School Board, created this land acknowledgement.
Halton, as we know it today,
is rich in the history and modern traditions
of many First Nations and the Métis.
From the lands of the Anishinaabe
to the Attawaddaron,
the Haudenosaunee,
and the Métis.
These lands surrounding the Great Lake
are steeped in Indigenous history.
As we gather today
on these treaty lands,
our Catholic social teachings
call us in solidarity
with our Indigenous brothers and sisters.
To honor and respect
the 4 directions:
lands, waters, plants, animals,
and ancestors.
that walked before us.
All these wonderful elements of creation exist,
Gifted to us by our Creator God.
We acknowledge and thank
the Mississaugas of the Credit First Nation
for being stewards of this traditional territory.
So a quick note before we begin sharing information about the program tonight. We want to make sure that we answer any questions that you might have this evening. So we have used a Microsoft form that was made accessible in advance of our meeting, and we did receive a number of questions. So thank you to all of you who have submitted questions to us. And what we've tried to do is embed answers in our presentation this evening. We will pause periodically throughout the presentation to take questions, so please continue to feel free to post questions throughout our meeting tonight, as we do have someone monitoring the form for us. Also, if there happen to be questions that we do not get a chance to get to, we're going to be posting answers on a frequently asked questions or FAQ on the board website's landing page after our event. Okay, so next slide, please. So as we have mentioned, Project Search is a really unique program. It provides an opportunity for total work immersion, as well as classroom instruction. And we know that Project Search is successful. It has a proven track record. There are over 600 sites of Project Search around the world, so it's grown exponentially over the years. Currently in Canada, there are 5 sites where Project Search is located, and we will be the 6th site. So we thought that the best way for us to let you learn a little bit about Project Search was to see it showcased in action. So we've selected a video clip from one of the US sites to share with you. And this is from Project Search Northwestern Medicine in Chicago. So please enjoy. Okay, so it seems like there could be an error message with the sound. So it's unfortunate that the video is not playing for you, but do know that the video clip shows the enthusiasm of everybody involved in Project Search, especially the students. They are gained in meaningful tasks and employment, and they talk about how no one believes in them, and in Project Search, people do believe in them and they are able to reach their potential. So perhaps if we can go to the next slide, please. So although we did not get to technically see Project Search in action, you saw a little bit of video, didn't get to hear it in action. We saw a site in the US, and we do have somebody here from the US tonight. And we introduced Cindy a little earlier on. We're going to ask Cindy to talk a bit about the history of Project Search and provide us with a general overview. Now, Cindy has over 25 years experience working with people with intellectual disabilities, and she's helped to create extensive job opportunities for students with disabilities, and that includes 3 Project Search programs. So right now, I'm going to turn it over to Cindy. Cindy, take it away.
Hi, everyone. I hope you're doing well. I'm not sure if my PowerPoint is up. Hi, again, I'm Cindy Burns, and I'm sitting in Savannah, Georgia right now, enjoying this nice weather, and I'm very glad to be with you today. I want to tell you a little bit about how Project Search started. As you see here, it started in 1966 when Erin Riley, who is the director of nursing, partnered with Susie Rakowski, who was the director of special education, and they started this program. And they really started it because Erin realized that she had patients that she was serving as the nurse manager, but with disabilities, but none of them were employees. And she had jobs that needed to be done. And so she had the great idea, because she had a need, to hook up with Susie, who is the special ed, was the special ed director at that time. And they thought, you know, that they would get a couple of jobs for the hospital. They never expected to have 626 programs in 47 U.S. states and 10 countries. That is huge. And so you see here the rest is history, and I'm so proud to congratulate you for being site number, I think she said 6 in Canada. So next slide. So the project search overview, it's really to prepare the interns for challenging, complex jobs. Oftentimes people with disabilities were seen as people that the highest job that you could receive was like bagging groceries. Well, that's not the case now. You can receive any job through, in this program because of the amount of challenging opportunities you get. We teach essential task and marketing skills. You give the interns a year to build the stamina and the skills needed to learn those different types of jobs. You add value to the workforce. You focus on job and employability. You don't join Project Search for a volunteer opportunity. The number one expectation of an intern that goes through Project Search is employment. And so that you go through a whole immersion program and learning using a strategic collaborative approach. Everything within Project Search is working together. Next slide. And you see here, it's training, employment, follow-along services, and we all work together. A lot of times people are working in silos, but through Project Search, it takes everybody to be part of the team for a successful year. Next slide. The definition of competitive employment is 16 hours per week. The expectation, of course, is for more than that when possible, but at a prevailing wage, no sub-minimum wage, everyone is expected to get a job paying at least above minimum wage. It's not seasonal. It's not a summer job or in a segregated setting. The expectation is you work with people with and without disabilities. Next slide. You see here that's between 65 and 75% of all the individuals that graduate from this program are able to become employed. And that is huge because here in the state, it's about 75 to 80% of people with disabilities are sitting home doing nothing. And that's, as you see, we've been able to flip those numbers to get, we're 65 to 75%. And we have found that 65% numbers because a lot of them are working at 15 hours a week, and we want them to try to push to work more. So we're very proud of these outcomes, and I'm very excited to hear about how the outcomes are going to be for this program with Holton Partnership at Milton Hospital. Back to you, Lisa.
Thank you so much, Cindy. So impressive to hear those successful outcomes. And at this time, we're going to circle back and take a look at our video.
My name is Bridget, and I'm graduating from Project Search today.
Today I'm graduating from Project Search.
I'm graduating now.
Hi, my name is Luke. I am a graduate of Project Search, and I work at Northwestern Medicine.
Project Search is a program that teaches students job skills.
Their semester is set up like a regular school semester. They take coursework that helps them be more familiar with basic job skills, interviewing, resume writing, things like that.
3 of the skills that I learned being like independence, prioritizing, and time management.
They help me find my voice.
So I like to eye contact with the people. That's my favorite part, and smile.
Then they also have more of a didactic experience where they're placed within different departments within the hospital to get real life job skills training.
This is my job. This is where I work. I do all the cleaning. I clean the beds, takes the dirty linen out, wipe it down the bed and put clean linen on. I clean the weights. I like to clean.
Luke is very detail-oriented in his tasks that he performs every day. He knows exactly what he needs to get done and does it. He supports our Patients First mission every day. He makes sure that our clinic is safe for our patients.
It's very important in what I do because I don't want people to get sick.
And the patients always goes first.
I think having inclusion and diversity being a key aspect of our organization really helps our community. We can really help them achieve our goals, which helps the organization achieve their goals as well.
With any of my kids, I want them to be happy, and I think he's happy when he can do his best.
It could allow him to be himself, but at the same time, he would learn how to present himself better in ways that we don't necessarily see as parents.
96% of our Project Search graduates get job placements after the program.
I'm very excited to start my new job at the Weston.
Now I'm working at Edwards as a housekeeper.
I'm so glad I get a good job. I get the money.
Parents of children with intellectual disabilities, it is crucial for them to see people that are like their children being successful. I think it gives parents hope for the future of their kids.
I think the greatest thing you can do for your kids is help them reach their potential, and we think that his participation and the work that he did with Northwestern Medicine helped propel him towards his potential.
It made me feel like I accomplished my goal, and that was really important.
And they believed in me when I didn't believe in myself.
Thank you. I'm so glad that you got an opportunity to see the video and how powerful it was. And again, the enthusiasm of everybody involved in Project Search. At this time, I believe we're going to take a few moments to pause for questions. So let's see if there are any questions submitted.
Yes, there are, Lisa. First question is, the HCDSB involved, sorry, just 1 second, just got to scroll through here. What will our role be as parents?
Okay, thank you, Andrew. That's a great question. So as parents, it's very important that families support all of our students in any programs that they're in. So with Project Search as well, family support is going to be a really important component of the program. Students must have family members support them from September through to June. Parents and family members will be involved in employment planning meetings and in participating in ongoing communication with the teacher, and as well as information sessions and whatnot. Also, it's important that our students be able to get to and from the Milton District Hospital daily. So some parents may be involved in supporting their children to provide them a ride there. And as well as parents, of course, we always provide or encourage our children to have high standards. And of course, we'd hope that parents would have that encouraging role of their participants in the program, talking about the importance of punctuality and adhering to all of the policies and program requirements for Project Search. Any other questions?
Yes, our next question here is, what does a typical day look like at Project Search?
Okay, really important for us to know about the day at Project Search for sure. So the day at Project Search would mimic in length the same thing as a secondary school day. So basically the same type of school hours, beginning initially with some classroom instruction. In the classroom with a special education teacher, of course, talking about Project Search curriculum, so things like employability skills. And this would be roughly an hour in length. After that, students would go out into their internships, so working on that for a majority of the day. They will have a time to have their lunch break, of course, and then returning back into the classroom at the end of the day with their classroom teacher to review and to plan and to evaluate their day. Okay,
Lisa,
any other questions?
Yeah, another question here. Could you give some examples of the types of internships that are typically available?
Very good. We've had this question a few times. We've done a number of presentations, and a lot of people are interested about the internships. Seeing as that Milton site will be a new site, we're not exactly certain as to what the internships will be there, because they would be somewhat site specific. But if we look at other hospital sites, there are some examples that I can provide you of typical placement opportunities. So they would be in the fields like housekeeping, food services, materials management, patient transport, some clerical duties, and things like that.
Lisa, Linda offered to add to that description. Would you like to bring her forward to do that?
Sure, Linda, go ahead, please.
Hi, everybody. So I'm actually in the process of developing these lovely internships for the program. And so far we have confirmation of internships in areas like housekeeping and food services. We've also confirmed clinical information, so that's a little bit of around the clerical side. There will be a diagnostic imaging department, and as well as our outpatient rehab so far. So their duties could be anywhere from placing products on trays, some cleaning, it could be doing filing for the clinical information and diagnostic imaging, some wayfinding, some stocking for the departments, and I think that's about it. So that's just a general idea for now. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Okay, are there any other questions at this time?
That's it for now, Lisa, but we'll check back in a bit.
Okay, thank you so much, Andrew. I'm now going to ask Martha to move us into the next part of our presentation.
Thanks very much, Lisa. So by this point, you've gotten to watch that video and see the faces of those excited graduates to be as they get ready to head out into the world. And you've also had an opportunity to hear about some of the core program components as well, and also hear some questions and answers. I think at this point, it might be a really good idea to hear about another partner in this program that is very, very important, and that is a parent of a Project Search student. So can we move forward to the next slide? I'd like to ask Jim if you wouldn't mind coming forward and saying a few words about the experience of your daughter, Lauren.
Gladly. I'm coming to you tonight maybe in two capacities. The first, as the parent of Lauren, an individual with special needs, and second, as a champion of Project Search and the young adults it supports. Lauren is on the autism spectrum, and she's now 20 years old. We've had a long journey. Lauren has had multiple education assistants throughout her time in the public system and has spent a number of years at 2 different private schools for special needs children. And I'm sure you're as worried about your child's future as I am about Lauren. 3 years ago, I heard of Project Search and became involved in bringing the program to the Halton region. The concept seemed brilliant. Provide the opportunity for young adults with special needs to actively participate as a functioning member of a workplace team with the assistance of a teacher, a job coach, and a workplace mentor. The goal was to develop employability skills so that participants can transition from school to gainful employment. Almost 2 years ago, we introduced Project Search at the Oakville Trafalgar Memorial Hospital in partnership with the Public Board, Oakville Community Living, our union QP815, and a number of other partners in the community. And I can remember the first week in September when I saw this group of students walking down the main corridor. And I thought to myself, oh, what have I got myself into? And then, you know, a couple months later, and that group was unrecognizable. They had purpose, they had responsibility, and they had accountability. I saw the possibility for my daughter in those young adults, so I started to lobby the Hamilton board to introduce Project Search. And Lauren started her program with them last September. Every day now, she asks me how my day went and can't wait to tell me about her day at work. We can't call it school, as she sees it as work in the most positive way. Lauren now has initiative. She does her chores at home and asks where she can help. She's the first one to be ready in the morning to go to work and the first one out the door. She wears her uniform with pride since she's now an intern. She is now doing meaningful work independently. She's respected as part of the team. Just think about when your child has really been on a team. She's excited to take on new challenges and becoming aware of all the things she can do. She's finally growing up and she's working towards a future. Lauren's journey is not unique, but it's certainly been remarkable since last September. And I've heard that same response from so many parents. Ambition, accountability, responsibility, team membership, respect, but mostly a can-do attitude for the first time. That's why I encourage my daughter to apply for the program, and that's why I champion this program to anybody who will listen. Thank you.
Jim, thank you so much. First of all, for being willing to share your story, and secondly, for being a champion of Project Search. Next slide, please. Well, we all know that students no doubt benefit from Project Search, but it is also true that those very same students grow into the kind of dedicated employees that would make any employer proud. Case in point is Project Search Halton graduate Marlo, who is allowing us to share a letter that was written by his supervisor commending his quick response to an on-the-job emergency. So here's the letter. I work in the medical surgical outpatient clinic at the Oakville Hospital. Marlo is one of the students from Project Search, and I believe he should be recognized for his actions and heroism in our clinic. On Monday, a patient was having a seizure and in our waiting room, and we couldn't see it from our desks. Marlo came up to my desk and said, "Can you call a code medical? A patient is having a seizure." I immediately called, our medical team came and assisted with the patient. I went up to Marlo and I thanked him and explained how amazingly he had handled the situation. He told me that he was scared. I explained to him that he handled it perfectly and remained calm throughout. I am very proud of him, and I believe he should be commended for his bravery and the way he handled a difficult situation under all that pressure. We are so grateful to work with these individuals from the Project Search program, especially Marlo. I was just so proud and impressed with him. And there were many other examples of his kindness and caring attitude for the patients that I witnessed as well. Yours truly. Well, I think this amazing story emphasizes that Project Search benefits everyone involved. So thank you, Marlo, for letting us share your story. Next slide. So we've heard a lot of information here this evening. I think it's important to take a few minutes and do a recap of some of the things we already heard and add in some more information that would be important to know about the program. Next slide. All right, so the project search transition model. We have embedded in this part of the presentation some of the points from questions that have already been sent in to us, so this should help clarify some aspects of the program. Project Search is a one-year school-to-work program for young people with intellectual and developmental disabilities who are in their final year of high school. It includes total workplace immersion. In our case, it will be at Milton District Hospital, and there will be 6 spots available for successful candidates starting in September 2021. Classroom instruction will be by a qualified special education teacher using Project Search curriculum. There will be 3 intern rotations for the students supported by skills trainers. There will be ongoing customized job search assistance, and the goal, of course, will be competitive employment. Next slide. Eligibility criteria. Candidates must be 18 to 21 years of age. And by 18 to 21 years, what we mean is 18 years of age and up to entering year 7 of secondary school. They must be registered at HCDSB for the 2021-22 school year. Students have to have the potential to be independent in the workplace. And by this, what we don't mean is that we would like to source out candidates that have perfect skills. If students have perfect skills, they may not need Project Search. But we need the kind of students. We're looking for the sort of students who, with a little bit of a helping hand through the intensive instruction and the internships, would be able to get a job where before they may not have been able to. They have to be able to take direction and change behavior. They should not need personal supports for self-care. Must be able to provide their own transportation with the help of their family to Milton District Hospital. Able to pass a drug screen and a background check. And of course, most importantly of all, have the desire to work. Next slide. So I think at this point, we could take a few minutes and pause again to see if we have any further questions. Andrew?
Yes, Martha, we do. We have a few questions.
Okay.
So this first question's multifaceted.
All right.
So is the HDSB involved with Milton District Hospital or just OT? Are applicants competing for same spots in Project Search as HDSB, or are there reserved spots for the HCDSB students? How many applicants are being considered, and is this the first year for Project Search in Milton?
Okay, so I think the last couple of points we just covered. How many applicants are being considered? There will be 6 spots for September. And yes, this is the first year for the very exciting new Milton site. All right, so just to clarify between the 2 programs, between OTMH and Milton, Project Search at the Milton site is for students that are registered at HCDSB, so the Halton Catholic District School Board. The site in Oakville is for students who are registered in the Halton District School Board. So the 2 boards are running these programs independently. We happen to have a common co-partner, which is Halton Healthcare, which makes it a little bit confusing, but that is the case as to how students would need to be registered for either of those sites. Any other questions?
Yes, Martha, we have another one here. So it says, I just wanted to clarify whether students with autism, which is classified as a communication disability rather than an intellectual or developmental one on the IEP, are eligible for the program. Thank you.
Okay, that is a really good question. And the answer to that is a qualified yes. And you're right, it's a communication disorder, unlike an intellectual or developmental disorder. However, I think what we need to say is that we have to go back to the idea that autism is a broad spectrum. the intention of this program is not for those students with autism who are very, very high functioning, who are out earning Ontario secondary school diplomas, heading off to college, heading off to university. It's intended for those students whose challenges are such that they would really benefit from the intensive programming and internships offered by this program. So students with the sensory issues, the communication issues, all of those things that make learning very difficult, they would probably really benefit from a lot of the repetitious nature of especially the time they get in the internships in this program. So that the answer to that is, as I said, a qualified yes. Anything else?
Oh, I've got another one here, Martha. What are some components of the Project Search curriculum?
Okay, that's another great question. Lisa, can you come back to us? Because we were talking about this earlier today, and I believe you have in a pile of paper there somewhere a list of curriculum components. Do you have it handy?
Yes, I will look for it here. So just to summarize, there are a number of hard and soft skills that make up the Project Search curriculum. And there are 8 areas, and they are team building, workplace safety, technology, self-advocacy, maintaining employment, financial literacy, health and wellness, and preparing for employment. Okay. Are there any other questions, Andrew?
That's it for now, Martha and Lisa.
Thank you so much. Okay, next slide, please. Thank you. So as we all know, COVID-19 is creating a lot of uncertainty and challenges for everyone, and we're doing the best to cope with our current climate. But we did want to just acknowledge that here today and mention that there will be the need to have some flexibility in order for us to move forward together on planning for a September start for our Project Search at the Milton site. There are 3 things that we wanted to talk about today and assure you of. So firstly, in addition to following the guidelines of the Ministries of Education and Health, Project Search will and must in accordance with COVID-19 pandemic situation, and the utmost consideration will be for the health and safety of staff, hospital patients, and our families, and of course the students. And lastly, we just wanted to mention that if further adjustments need to take place due to the change in the pandemic situation, they will have to happen if they affect any of our partner operations.
Lisa, did we want to take a moment and ask Jim to tell us a little bit about the current situation at the Oakville Hospital?
Sure. Jim, would you like to speak to that for a moment?
Yeah, there's a couple of things I can say. I've been working at the hospital on a daily basis. I think it's the safest place for me to be because we have so many safety protocols in place. People are masking, people are observing the physical social distancing. We are screening people at the doors. We have immaculate safety procedures in place. And I'm very confident that it's a safe place for people to be. We have managed to run our Project Search program throughout the pandemic. Even with the lockdown, our students are in the building as we speak. Where they're patient facing, they've received vaccinations. We've done everything to teach our students and interns about proper personal protective equipment, proper ways of donning and doffing, and we've been very successful with that. It's a great place to be and a good place for students to get their experience even in the pandemic.
Thanks so much, Jim, for sharing that experience that you guys have right now, and it's really assuring, I think, to hear. Next slide, please. So we know that you've heard a lot about the program tonight, but I think that we have to talk about one very important thing, and that is how you can apply for the program. So if you're interested in applying to the program, you can access the application in one of two ways. So you're going to see on your screen that there is a QR code. If you have your phone with you and a camera, you can scan the form and that'll give you access to the application directly. Also, you'll see on the screen that there is a bit.ly link. You can use that link to access the application. If you have any questions or any technical difficulties accessing the link, or just want to speak to me or contact me, you have my contact information there up on the screen. Feel free to email with questions or call if you like, if you have any comments or questions about the program.
And Lisa, if I might just add that this was a lot of information this evening. If it was me, I might be tempted to want to hear it again. So just to remind everybody that this presentation will be posted on our school board's YouTube channel, and you can go back to it and certainly re-access this information at the end as you wish, and watch it over again to hear about the program until you feel it helps you get to the place where you can make a decision.
Perfect, thanks, Martha. As well, you'll note that the applications will be due. There is a due date and it is May the 14th. And we want you to know that following your application submission, you will receive information regarding an interview and the assessment process. We do imagine that these will take place virtually, again, given the current situation. And there will be a selection committee from all three of our partners that will be screening candidates and determine who will be moving forward in the program. Okay, and our last slide, please. So we want to thank you for joining us this evening. If you do have an opportunity, please take a moment to feedback. As you can see, we have another QR code up on the screen. Again, feel free to use your camera to scan this QR code to submit any questions or comments. We look forward to hearing from you, and we'd like to thank you so much for being with us tonight and wish you all a very good night.
Good night, everyone, and thank you.